We're live from our studios here in Kokomlemle on digital address GA09925339. Hello, it's a good Friday and I hope you're having one. Our top stories this hour. 20,000 bounty placed on the heads of those who killed FOR MP who was killed this dawn. This afternoon, grief and anguish is what's happening at his residence as the police goes to the crime scene with help from the police headquarters. Also, from political campaigns, accidents to armed robberies, we go across the country as we touch base with our correspondents on what they reported on this week. And we're live at the headquarters of the Electoral Commission as today ends the filing of nominations. We'll tell you who has filed and who hasn't by the close of day. I'm Gifty Andopia. This is The Pulse. Please be my guest. Welcome to the details. This afternoon, scores of clients have been stranded at the premises of the Registrar General's Department following a total shutdown of its operating systems. The shutdown, JoyNews gathers, is a spillover effect of an ongoing strike by workers of GCNet, a third-party operational partner of the Registrar General's Department. Now, hundreds of patrons who have been visiting the premises for more than a week are being turned away.
Straight days of inactivity here at the Registrar General's Department. Now, the edifice that sits here is supposed to be the place where people get to register their businesses. But the past 5 days, there's been absolutely no work done. And this is owing to the temporary shutdown, we're told, of their systems here. The service providers of the Registrar General's Department, that's GCNet, its employees are on strike. And being on strike essentially would mean that the systems of GCNet are shut down, which spills over and also shutting down the systems of the Registrar General's Department. People throng into the premises from far and near. I've been speaking to some people who come from as far as Sogakope and others, all in a bid to get their businesses and so on registered.
Yeah, I've been here since Monday. Anytime it will be like the system is down and all that. Today we came and then we saw notice that they had an issue with GCNet, which they are trying to solve. Yes, you know, like I need the registrations to do something. I need a certificate to proceed with other activities. Yeah, so it really means a lot to me at the moment. So I really need that, and that is why, because and also like there were times when you come, there'll be like the system is down. You should go and then come. Okay. It was only today we saw a notice that they had an issue.
I've been here for the past 1 week. That any time that you come around, the system is not working. Okay. So most of the time you have to wait, spend your whole day over here. Okay. And the feedback is the system couldn't come, so you have to go and come the next day, which is very frustrating. So I don't know what management is doing about it, because we have other things doing and we can't be wasting our time at the Registrar General each and every day. Me, for instance, I'm picking up a document. Okay. I've done the registration already there. I was sent a test that it was ready for collection, and I've been here for the past 1 week, and we come, the systems are down. It's not ready. The systems are down.
I tried to register what is it called, a sole proprietorship thing, so that I can run a business, and I've been waiting for it for quite some time. The time they gave me is up all right, but I haven't received it, and I keep on checking in. And they really couldn't tell me anything till I came here today, seeing that nothing is working. Okay. Can't, because I feel like everything should be working for us to be able to move on. Because I feel like Ghana, for where we are now, we've crossed that season whereby we are supposed to be struggling with things like this. I just pray, like all I want, or I'm venting for, is that the system should work. I have no option, because now, if I need to open a business account now to receive money, I'll need that certificate for that, and I can't do that now. And so my monies are holding, and I need to pay people too as well.
These are the sentiments that I'm getting here at the Registrar General's Department, essentially from some of the clients who have come here to get their businesses registered, and also some to do as little as just pick up documents which they've been told are already printed. We're trying to get some responses. Madam Jemima Oware, who is the Registrar General herself, is in there, who's been telling us the reason for the shutdown of the systems.
We have a completely new way of doing business. We've deployed the beneficial ownership register as we're supposed to before the 1st of October. At least GCNet was able to do all that. But by the 1st of October, after they deployed the new system, then we realized that we're not able to access the system. And by that, what that meant was we weren't even able to make payments for any of our services, because all our services are linked up to this electronic system. So of course I've been in talks with management and workers, and it turned out that there was a problem from the management and workers angle. I think after the workers were laid off at the Ghana ports, when there was a problem with the contract there, many of them were laid off, and their redundancy package had to be paid them, and that's an issue between management and workers. But I think that has not been paid yet, and so we were registering as many as 200 companies a day. Our revenues were sometimes 300,000, 400,000, sometimes even 500,000 a day. But now, absolutely nothing. And this is since last week, Friday. This is in addition to the COVID that also came up, and all the lockdowns, we were able to provide any services. So then the revenues were quite low already, and now this. And I'm worried about the effect in the business community, and how certain transactions can just not go through because we are not able to render the service we are supposed to render. It's a very serious issue for me, and I'm praying that government, through maybe Ministry of Finance, will call the management and the workers and find a way of bringing a solution to this whole problem.
Manuel Kranting filed that report this afternoon from the Registrar General's Department, so at least there's some explanation for you if you are affected, so you know what is happening there. We'll be following up on that story subsequently, but right now let me tell you about what happened today. There has been grief and anguish as a member of parliament is killed in what police suspect to be a highway robbery. MP for MFANTSEMAN Ekow Hayford was shot dead by gunmen at Abaze Dominase in the central region as he returned to Mankasim from a campaign trip. President Ekow, we understand, has already written to Parliament expressing his condolences to the House and promising action by the police to track down the killers. Already, police has issued a 20,000 cedi bounty on the head of the killers. In his Mankasim home, there is grief and anguish as loved ones gather to sympathize with the family. Those are some visuals from his home earlier today. Central Region correspondent Richard Kojonyako gave this update earlier.
So this is the residential facility of the incumbent member of parliament FOR MFANTSEMAN constituency called Ekow Hayford, who was shot dead early this dawn at 1 a.m. In fact, there have been several narrations that people are attributing to the death of this member of parliament. But this is the residential facility. It looks as if the entire town of Mankesim is here. People have trooped to where he lives. He has a wife and 2 children, and people cannot control themselves. It's a hefty blow. They do not know what to do. They can't even put words together to even describe what has befallen them. It's such a tragic news to befall them. They are sitting a member of parliament. They describe him as extremely hardworking, affable, humble, associates with everybody, the young, the rich, the poor, and all of that. It pains them. It saddens their hearts that such a thing should befall their candidate. It's been extremely excruciating pain for them to bear.
Well, what I know is that I was called in the middle of the night, somewhere around 2 a.m. I had a call that the MP is gone. So I quickly asked, what really happened, and I was told. So what I did was that I went to Sopon Government Hospital, where I saw the MP lying down dead, being shot.
This particular stretch, what do you know about the stretch? And when you do campaign deep or late into the night like that?
We are not even campaigning at the moment. Because of the COVID, there has been a whole lot of strategy where you wouldn't have a whole lot of people. So what the constituency has designed is that they managed to meet some few people and talk to them. So, and normally what we do is that, we give them a pre-information that we are coming. But of course, if MP is going somewhere, there will be a whole lot of people also, coming across. So sometimes that's what really eats into the night. So it's not as if it's being organized in the middle of the night.
What do you know about this road, this particular stretch of road, from Mankesim to the Abiazi Dominasi up to Abra Dunkau? What can you tell me? Is it the first time this incident is happening?
I think so. I think this is the very first time, something of this sort where a sitting MP has been shot. But we also know that sometimes there are a whole lot of armed robbery, incidents on that very stretch. Interestingly, that stretch used to be very, very, very bad. The road is very, very bad. And the same person who has been shot today is the one who is actually doing the work. collaborating with Nana Akufo-Addo and doing this very work. So it's so very pathetic. So what we know is that because of such incidents which has been happening, what's really normally happen in the middle of the night is that around 7 p.m., 8 p.m., you don't normally see a whole lot of cars coming from that very stretch. So it was very strange that when the MP was coming from the Abazi Dominazi area, they met that traffic over there where he was shot.
Okay, so that is Eric giving us an account of what really transpired on this particular stretch of the road. There are so many people that are seated. In fact, they've been shedding tears the whole of this morning when the incident broke, and it's been so much of a difficulty for them to handle. So tell us, how do you take all of this?
To be honest and sincere, we are very sad this morning because we are not expecting something of this sort this morning. And from what we are all suggesting and assuming, it's something that they've planned and plotted about.
Why do you think so?
Because how come they went there and mentioned the name of the MP? Who is the MP? Because they are a group of people. So if they are armed robbers, they would have attacked all of them. They will not mention or point to a particular person. So in this way, they pointed that we are looking for the MP. And the moment the MP showed up, they shot him. So it means it's a plan thing. Whether within the party or outside the party, it's a plan thing. And me myself, if it's outside the party, it's someone from the party within the party who took the information to them. Because how will the person know that the MP is taking this route or the MP is going to this very direction? So if truly even the person who killed the MP is not within the party, someone within the party gave the person information, and it's very sad. We the Fantis, we must learn a lesson out of this. How come we brought our own person for presidency? He didn't cover 4 years. The same thing our own from Mankesim here, he also couldn't cover the 4 years. So how come? We are not going to vote so the person who killed our MP, Honorable Ekow Hayford, is out. If the person is out, we will vote.
So what really is going to happen? What are you suggesting should happen within this?
Okay, right now we are waiting for our constituency executives to come to tell us something that will calm us down, because we are all sad this morning. This morning we went to the hospital around 3 o'clock. From there we came to his house. We are not doing anything till we hear something good from our constituency executives. Let them come and voice out to us what they are taking, the necessary steps they are taking before we will come down. Else, no one, no media houses will come here and tell us that today is the closing date for submission of forms. So we don't have anyone. And even aside that, if the wife of Honorable Ekow Hayford says that I'm ready to contest, we will give our vote to her. Apart from her, no any other person. Apart from her, no any other person. Because this man has lost a lot. He's the hope of the family. And he's the only child of the mom. So if we have lost him, then someone closer to him should come and replace him, so that at least if we have lost him, that person can come and take over and look after Ekow Hayford's children. And the mother of Ekow Hayford, I'm Richard Amwako from Mankesimi, a native. Me, I started campaign with Ekow Hayford, so I know him very well. He's a very humble person.
So tell me, you have got some close association with him. If I ask you to give me a testimony of his life, who he was, what would you say?
Oh, I can say that when I got closer to Ekow Hayford, in the beginning, I wasn't knowing he has even worked with the security force before. When I got closer to him, then I got to know that he has worked with, and the wife is currently in the security force. The wife is currently in the security force, and his door is open. His door is open to everyone. When you come here, like when you go to the other MP's house, the way you will be restricted to even enter. You came here, you just saw what is happening. We can come here anytime. If you come and you don't see him, fine. But when you come in the sea around, no one will seize you from seeing this man. So he thought that, like, he's normal person, he need not to make things strict for people, to prevent people from coming to him. Therefore, like, everybody was coming to him. Those within Mankesimi, those outside Mankesimi, they were all coming here. So he was very simple. Very simple. When you even see him, you may not think, say, he's the MP. Very humble person. Very humble. Very humble. And those people, we pray. We know that for sure we will see those who do that to this man, because they've caused a lot. This morning, I'm sure that some people were going to eat from this man's pocket. And I'm sure those who couldn't eat this morning because this man is no more, they are all going to cry and shed tears, which will be curses upon those who do that. So those people should come out themselves. They shouldn't even let the police do any investigation. They should come out themselves. We just want those who sent them to come and do the thing.
All right. Thank you very much. Let me speak with you. Earlier you were telling me how you came.
About 2 o'clock. You want to get honorable Ekow Hayford. But let me tell you, because every morning by 5:30 to 6. Ya ni ebe ya oshe yebo. Na ya ban. Kwa sa do ya chonye bida. Ya ni to ye di ya kasa. Ya kasa le me yankasa, ya kasa le me yankasa. Ya kasa le me yankasa. Ene ala honorable. Na banta na ya kasa le me yankasa. Al mama kasa ma na me shamobo. No ye radre pa blanda. Odi agbase no do me. Na me mo na me odimechi wo gbo efu. All about the mixes. What do you want to say? And I'm not honorable. Like, that you be chained. 600,000. It may be that. But, I said, we knew. But if I shall now come do. Obey na December break. Into a star radio coupon. Now be woman who couldn't know you won't pay. Baby, I watch the radio on pay. Papa, no. Why may MP NDC? NDC football not in culture. I'm a first. Yes, shadow of FOR. He can't out of four. Best you say. Yes, why are you catching a show for? on what they did say chunk why ye by ye then people change shame film na kwa ba so the no size me better be me better be meje the by 4 years 5 months ni me figure me ba kwa answer no show me up to now more pressure campo on no but am it tell me call na we wule ya kwa answer the by last 3 months
last 2 weeks
me catch na there no so wu no so odubo wi na me mowu na ko no what no but I me and ko we film wa kan ma be ala
Richard Kojo Nako filed that report earlier.
Bakano is back.
Apologies if those visuals were sensitive to some of you. I should have warned you earlier. But this afternoon, a team of forensic experts has arrived in Mankasim as investigations into the incident get underway. We'll hear from police PRO for the region shortly. First, though, listen to an eyewitness's account of what happened.
No, okay, say Tukano. We can say Tukano ko eni want Nemi John, me hear say me Tukano say me badwin so that's me see Tukano joy say ofu aba me direction no na me catch me bra say onyi sika no ka no mu mame cause na me say bi o madman bi na oba attack me nti me can say na o change ni direction no nti me time one mu say ba ko su firi ase no car light na sini so on so di me ka kita the same dress touch ni bon anim na tuo ni kita no do be do me chana omo mienu na surround me na ka say me full car no na me full no say me low me light no na me dum light in the car parking no je ho ni say car ba ko su fi suru ha esane je wa na me ti say omo so e shout no stop one you know about boat you no so omo elide no na wo park here je ko ba sa no na tuo ni simi so sa na ode me ba be gina baby a me car ni si no no si mi si no si mi ndim ja no na me dum do si dum light na me dum no ti mi si fo wa na si fo si kabra na me yi ska wo no ho e hye me betom no e de ma no si ni na no na me side to one side me yi de e ho no ma no je ba sa na ba kuno so fa me passenger side e ko bie do no no si brana me na ni passenger na ye de ni na no mo di to leading yes aba e suru ha be o mo de car na cross no na odi e be kan mo gufo mo no be le yen ka ho ani de ba ko di to ni si agunti se ka ni piepe na o amoda na o mo dumrika na o mo akosela ni ka no e pie wa senso ana ase ofu no so dumrika na o mo le tu a what you don no more than 50 omo doson ko ye defo mo no ni chomu chomu omo ye menu ana me so omo doson omo betu Dubai 10 obi aso no de ka be edu na ka bi si ya me hu ka bia ba the corona e try e bedu ha na yisia private car ba ko yisia no ntie hu ka bia well nya de cars ne e ba omo de car ne ba na se car no on person ogina na omo shout gina we nyina e be shoot nti omo de ne sa fi ase o sa na e be pa ye ho de o pa ye ho no a woko enyim ho no ne eti se tuo no esu omo tutu ni sa ba tuo ni na omo guso tutu dada nti yempo ne anim se bia we kumo bia na se tu aka obi nti omo ye de oba nyina wie no last one oba ko tutu be 6 ansa na omo ko nti aye din be 30 to 40 minutes no na yehun se police fo no aba ansa ye start say yes so sorry itu omo kita ne de different from police fo no to no anu ye de pa ebi okra oto ba kon etumi 2 by 10 bullet ba kon na be to no etumi 2 by 10 the chairman me na me chairman Mankasim cargo station na we dey never me the Michael Kwanza yeah.
Michael Kwanzaa is one of the surviving drivers. Essentially, he talked about he says more than 50 gunshots was hit by him, and that they took his money, and he narrates essentially what happened. Well, like I said this afternoon, the police forensic team has been visiting the crime scene. Take a look.
Immediately the MP arrived. He didn't know what had happened. So he arrived by the driver and asked him what is happening. And when he saw that and that is why he went into a ditch here. He went into a ditch here. So when that time the MP had been hit because he was shot from the driver's side. So the driver was hit in the two hands. So he lost control of the vehicle and he went to a ditch here. So the MP got down and limping. He wanted to enter the bush and they shot him from the back at the waist level and he fell here. So he arrived here and so he was bleeding here and this is where he fell. So this is the blood. So he fell here and unfortunately bled to death. So that was exactly what happened.
So this was his last place?
Yes, here, this very place. When we came, the blood stain was plenty. It is only this rain that is washing it away. So that was what happened.
So your point is that you had a number of vehicles?
Yes, that time about 18 cars have been stopped here. Because the robbers stopped those cars.
Robbers in front of the car that has been used to block and robbers at the back as well?
Yes, they were 6 in number.
So some here, some...
So some were right here, some were in the middle, and some were at the far corner where our car with the siren and other things, yes. So that was how they positioned themselves.
You are saying when the outrider,
yes,
the MP's outrider,
yes,
came all the way, the MP also followed him?
Yes, but he was leading. So by the time the MP appeared at that place, the robber has marched the guy up to the middle there. Okay. So when MP arrived there, the rider was standing, and one of the robbers was behind him with a gun. Okay. So when the MP asked, Rider, what is happening? What is happening? The guy was afraid, he couldn't talk. And so MP turned around, so then he said, driver, drive through. So he decided to meander his way up to this level and he was shot here. So they were firing from all angles. So when we go to the car, you will see pellet holes everywhere on the car. But the one that got him first was shot from the driver's side. So he hit the driver in the two hands on the sear. So he lost control and hit the MP. But when we checked, we saw that from where the MP side, he was also hit because there were several shots there. So he got down here, wanted to enter this bush. Then they shot him and he fell here.
Dick, how did you get there?
But when we arrived, they have moved it there. So I want to believe it was the people, perhaps the sympathizers or party members who came to the scene, moved it there.
But otherwise, it was immobilized here?
Yes. In fact, we could have met it just here.
Okay.
We'll be hooking up with Richard Kojonya, our correspondent for the region, to explain to us who this person with the narration is and exactly what he was doing. But it did look like he was telling the minister, the regional minister who was there, what had happened. And how does he know what happened? We'll find out from Richard Kojonya. But police PRO for the region, Irene Opon, has been giving some details on the incident.
The 8th of October 2020, na abo anajube 11:40 day. Na police enya 11:40 p.m. The Mankesim Divisional Police Command had an information that there was a robbery going on an outstretch between Dominase and then Mankesim. That is the highway from Mankesim to Kumasi. So police proceeded to the scene and met a lot of passengers with cars parked who narrated that they were attacked by robbers at the scene. We also had the information that the MP for MFANTSEMAN, that is Honorable Ekow was also a victim in that robbery, and he was shot dead. Currently, the body is at the morgue for preservation and also autopsy. Again, persons who were injured have been sent to the hospital, and for now we can confirm that it's only the MP who has passed on. All other injured are at the hospital. We are appealing to the general public that, as we all know, police will move with information. Anybody who have information about these incidents concerning the perpetrators involved, we are appealing to them to liaise with the nearest police station. Give us the information that will help to facilitate our investigations. Again, currently the Regional Police Command has instructed and also taken over investigations from Mankesim Divisional Headquarters, and investigations will be carried on at the Regional CID. So the case is still under investigation.
Irene Opon speaks for the Central Region Police Command. Let's go over right now. As you know, this afternoon, the IGP or the Police Command issued a statement. In that statement, they talk about a 20,000 bounty that the police is offering to anybody who has information that can help unravel this mystery. Let me take you to the Central Region now. Richard Kojonyako is standing by. We wrap up with him on this story. Richard, let's start with the gentleman who was explaining to the regional minister the crime scene. What happened at the crime scene? Who is he?
So he is the lead investigator in this case for the region, and he is a regional crime officer. So they have been briefed adequately by the Mankesim Divisional Police Command. In fact, when the matter broke, they came all the way from Cape Coast, supported their colleagues at Mankesim, went to the hospital, spoke with the victims, those who are currently recuperating at a hospital, other eyewitnesses. So they have, made all these accounts, and that is what gives him that confidence to give these details to the general public. And so when he was giving this narration, then the team from the national headquarters also arrived to also beef up the regional crime division to further hunt these suspected criminals down. And so this is the regional police crime officer.
Richard, let's find out what else has happened. I mean, since morning, it's been a lot of crying and wailing at the residence of the Member of Parliament. Has the party in the region spoken? What else has happened? What is the latest development?
Well, so Gifty, a lot has gone on today away from the family house where his residential facility proper. People trooped into that facility. You could barely get a place to even step because everyone has something to say about this man they describe as the one who was carrying the developmental agenda of the FOR constituency on his shoulders. They pointed to the various infrastructural projects that he was spearheading, the drainage system. You remember the Mankesim flooding. So they say that it had to take him to get the thing done, and currently it's under construction. That particular stretch of the road that this incident happened, he's continuing the project, and this place has been there. It's an untarred road, undulating, not motorable, so a lot of robberies occur on that particular road, but currently it's under construction. You could see from the various shoulders of the road that they are constructing the drainage that will go with the actual construction for the tarring of the road. Okay. So far, the party in the region have been to the mother's residence. In fact, the mother is about 80-year-old. Tears were streaming down. The mother is 80 years old. Tears were streaming down her cheeks. It was led by the regional party chairman, Robert Kutin, the regional secretary, and his colleague MPs from the region, Kennedy Japan. We have Afenyo Makin. We have other people, the Kumfi MP, and other people from the region. They came to also console or to condole with the family. We also had ministers of state. The transport minister was there. The regional minister also visited the family and assured them that government is in support of whatever decision they take to enable them, prepare for the final funeral rites of this late MP. And so that is what the party has said about it. Okay. Nothing has really been said about the elections, who is supposed to step in his stead, because today is the closing day for the nominations. But I know that the party might have a different plan to ensure that they get represented there. But these are some of the things that have been happening in the constituency. It's been a terrible day for the people here. They woke up to the reality that their MP is no more. In fact, the MP took part in a kefit exercise they just organized on Sunday. He's been interacting with the constituents, and then they said that when you come to the constituency, you cannot even identify him as the member of parliament because he associates with a lot of people. Right. And so that is who this member of parliament is. He was born on the 24th December 1970. So this coming December 24th will mark his 50th birthday, and then today we are greeted with this sad news about his demise.
Richard, thank you very much for the comprehensive work you've done on this since morning. Richard Kojonyako is our correspondent in the Central Region. I'm going to take you now to Parliament. As you know, he's a member of Parliament. While in Parliament, they have been grieving as well. I'll take you through a statement that has been issued. As you also know, President Ekow has written to them. But this is a letter from Parliament. It's captured Parliament in mourning. It says Parliament is shocked and extremely saddened by the gruesome murder of the Member of Parliament from FOR, the first-time Member of Parliament, served on the Judiciary Committee and the Defence and Interior Committees. The late Honourable Member was a quiet, hard-working man who did his job diligently with very little fuss. Speaker and members, while mourning the loss of their colleague, have expressed the hope for expedited action to find and bring the perpetrators of this heinous crime to book. Parliament expresses deep condolence to his wife, children, family, and friends, the FOR constituency and the entire nation. Kate Addo, Director of Public Affairs, sent that release in. Joseph Opoku Gakpo will be joining me live, but first he's been interacting with some of the members of Parliament on what has happened.
Can I go? So, well, members of Parliament continue to express concerns about their security. In fact, some of them have had very terrible experiences with, robbers and people attacking them and all. Some of them are joining me here for a conversation. Let's begin with the Honourable Kennedy Kankam. He's had some experience. He's the MP for Nshire. So, what exactly happened in your case? What do you think should change going forward in the light of the death of your colleague?
Well, thank you very much. I think by 3rd November this year will be exactly 1 year when I was attacked by armed robbers in my house, my residence in Kumasi. I think I myself and my family was taken hostage for almost 3 hours. And I think the experience is quite terrible. It was very, very terrible. It's something that I cannot describe it by words. In fact, I don't wish it happens to anybody. It is something that is quite very, very bad.
Do you get the sense that happened as a result of you being a target as a member of Parliament, or this is generally a case of in your specific incident, general insecurity, at least in the neighborhood where you live?
I think it's a targeted thing, because if you look at the way my house is built, the walls and the security system in the place, and if you look at even the electrical wiring and the fencing of the place, it is something that if it's not well planned, it won't be easy for any robber to just break into the house. It was something that was targeted. The robbers told me exactly that you were the target, but for the sake of your children, for the sake of your children. You have a very, very, very young family, so we cannot do that to you. And they demanded something, and we paid the ransom to them before my life was spared on that day.
That's interesting. Dr. Clement Park, so we've had the situation with Ekow Hayford. How can this be fixed going forward so MPs don't suffer some of these kinds of attacks?
Well, first of all, before I speak to the unfortunate and barbaric manner in which our colleague has been, sent to his maker, it's important I also indicate that I've also been a victim of a robbery in my home. This was right after I was invited by the former president, now NDC flag bearer, to join his government in 2013. 5 gun-wielding men invaded my home, held me and my family hostage, and indeed I was also lucky because in the middle of the operation I suddenly felt the urge to speak Hausa, and for some reason I just made the statement Mina Iku, which is what have I done to you people. Suddenly after I made that comment, I could see that the mood of the robbers changed, and so they then decided that they should leave. This was after they had meted some very savage beatings out to my brother-in-law. And I must admit, it is an experience that when you go through, it changes your life forever. The trauma that it comes with is something that you can't understand until you go through. And I would never wish that upon any other human being. With regards to our colleague who has lost his life, I would say in the line of duty, because as a member of parliament for MFANTSEMAN, and as we are in the campaigning season, it is only part of his job to go out to meet members of his constituency to advocate and justify why he should be retained. And for him to die the way that he did should clearly call attention to the need for maximum security for politically exposed persons, particularly members of parliament. The way it stands now, if you are in the executive or you are in the judiciary, you have access to state-provided security. But those of us who are not, we are left on our own. And I think it is becoming one too many. I think it is about time that we as a people make the commitment to ensure that those that we select to lead us are also given the needed protection, because without this, it is going to make it very difficult for more people with the right competencies and abilities to step up. Because if you are going to become politically exposed, and if that is going to endanger your life, then one may ask, what is the point?
I'll get back to the two of you in a jiffy, but Honorable Kwabena Ohimetinyasi, MP for Kede, shouldn't the focus be on improving the general security across the country so that you MPs will be safe as well, rather than an idea that, as is being called for even on the floor, you MPs need extra protection?
Yes, my point of view is that we should have a general security arrangement so that everybody is safe. If everybody becomes safe, there will be no need for MPs or chief executives, DCEs, judiciary, and other people to be well protected. But in as much as the general security is not covering all, then at least if we are giving preference to some people, then we think as members of parliament we should also be considered, because we have chief executives having police protection, we have regional ministers having police protection, we have DCEs having police protection, members of the judiciary. So why not members of the legislature?
Let me put this final question to Honorable Kankam. Do you think things would have been different in your home that day if you had police protection one way or the other?
Yeah, I don't think they would have even ventured to come to the place, because looking at the way the architecture of my house is and the type of security system that I've put in place, you know, if a police officer or a security officer were to be detained at the place, I think the situation would have been different. At least we would have had a hint of it that some people have entered the compound. So I would have activated other security, or I could have even called the police boss or the security officers that I have their contact on my phone.
Joseph Opoku Gakpo, they're interacting with some members of parliament who are advancing their argument for more security for parliamentarians. Well, like I said, President Ekow Hayford today has been writing to parliament. He's also been expressing his sadness about the situation. So he tweeted earlier this morning, and that's the tweet. He says, "I am shocked and saddened by news of the murder of the Member of Parliament from FOR Honorable Ekow Hayford by suspected armed robbers in the early hours of this morning. It is sad. It is a sad day for FOR and for Mother Ghana." Joseph Opoku Gakpo joins me from Parliament. Hello, Joseph. I'm hopeful that you can hear us, but we've had the conversation you had with the members of parliament. Hello, Joseph.
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Great, I do hear you. So we've seen your interaction with the members of parliament. This is certainly a big conversation that has been going on. What has been happening in parliament generally today?
So the flags here in Parliament are flying at half-mast as a result of the development with the death of the FOR MP. Earlier in the day, there was a 1-minute silence to actually mark his killing. It was actually the very first item the Speaker dealt with the moment he took his seat. He read the letter from the President, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, expressing his condolences to Parliament. And in that letter, President Akufo-Addo assured Parliament that those responsible will be brought to book. And the President further assured that his administration takes the security of members of Parliament very seriously. And so the necessary steps will be taken to protect MPs. And after that, the Speaker opened up for comments from members of the House. And the MPs are unhappy. I don't want to use the word angry because that may be an exaggeration of a sort, but they are very much unhappy with the police administration. For example, there was a letter that was read out by the minority leader, the Honorable Haruna Idrisu. Apparently, some weeks ago, there was a letter from the Clerk of Parliament to the office of the IGP requesting that those who are leaders in the House, like the Speaker, the First Deputy Speaker, the Second Deputy Speaker, the Majority Leader, the Minority Leader, the Majority Chief Whip, the Minority Chief Whip, they do have police bodyguards. So there was a communication from the clerk that with the campaign heating up and all, they would want to have a situation where when they are back in their constituencies, there should be some form of protection for them even at the level of the constituency. So extra security as they seek to campaign. And there was a reply from the police administration signed by Commissioner of Police Dr. George Akufo-Dampare to Parliament, indicating that the police administration is stretched to a certain extent. They are dealing with election-related issues and they are dealing with increased security concerns. So they are unable to provide that extra security for the leadership of Parliament. And for MPs, they think this is worrying. They make the argument that ministers and deputy ministers and district chief executives have police bodyguards, so they don't understand how come when MPs need police bodyguards to be protected and all, then it's a difficulty for the police administration. They reference the judges who all have security men, which they think is unfair. And in the course of the conversation and MPs raising the concerns, Speaker of Parliament, Professor Michael Quay, directed that Ambrose Derry, who is the Minister for Interior, shows up in the House on Tuesday. He's inviting him to come brief MPs on what is being done to better protect them, especially in these times when there's a lot of campaigning happening. But one hint that we've gotten is that there's been communication from leadership to MPs that for now they should limit how they move about, particularly at night, in order to ensure their security, even as efforts are made to protect them using the state security apparatus.
I'll leave it there for you. Thank you so much for those and that update. Joseph Opoku Gakpo is our parliamentary affairs correspondent, bringing us up to speed. And as you heard him say, the Interior Minister Ambrose Derry has been invited to the House to brief them on what we're doing as far as security is concerned, especially in the wake of campaigns. Well, earlier on Election Brief, I spoke to security analyst Adib Sani. Here are his thoughts on the matter.
The growing sense of insecurity is not starting with the murder of the FOR MP. Indeed, it is something we have been grappling with for some time now. According to police statistics, according to statistics from the Bureau of Public Safety, and even the U.S. Department of State, since 2017, there's growing insecurity in the country. Crime is on the increase. There are well over 1.2 million illegal guns in the system. On an annual basis, over 500 Ghanaians are murdered. And local authorities, as has been captured in the travel advisory published by the U.S. Department of State for its citizens coming to Ghana, they say lack the capacity to counter the threats. Okay, so this is no news, and for some of us, it is not coming as a surprise because for years on end, and it cuts across the political divide, we have failed to deal with the fundamental issues of security in the country. And for us to now simplistically say that the solution to all that is happening is for MPs to be given armed guards, I think it will be tantamount to dealing with the issue unscientifically, unsustainably, and localizing it rather than looking at it from the broader picture. Now, how about the average Joe persons like you and I?
That's an argument that has been made, but if you get to the parliamentarians and the other people who are calling for extra security for themselves, that's those who are in parliament, the argument they make is that it's looking more as if people do not have fear. People do not have regard for persons, and they're putting themselves in the Article 71, category, and saying that the other people who are within this category who enjoy that security, why can't you give us as MPs the same?
Well, the thing is, Gifty, because of the nature of every job, I mean, just as MPs, you are a reporter, I mean, you are a journalist, and there are sometimes you engage in investigative reportage, which would not go down well with some people, so that could make you a potential target. I'm a security analyst. I talk about security every day. I make the work of the criminals very difficult, so I'm a potential target. Whether you are an investment banker with someone investing something with you and not going the way he expected, you could also be a potential target. So almost everybody is a potential target. MPs are potential targets, but I've always maintained that dealing with it at the localized level, giving MPs security, despite the fact that yes, they claim those within that article have security, is not going to help the situation. We have a major issue considering it from the wider context. How do we manage the security of the state in a much more effective and efficient manner? How do we go beyond just thinking that the solution to the myriad of security challenges we're facing in the country all boils down to donation of pickups and other vehicles to the police, when we have consistently failed to invest in situational crime prevention, when we have consistently failed in training our law enforcement officers in line with best international practices to counter this threat, because it is quite common, it is common knowledge that a lot of these criminals are always a step ahead of law enforcement. How do we capacitate them? How do we give them the equipment? How do we create an environment where it will not be profitable to commit crime rather than just giving them security? I do understand, I mean, the awkward situation they have gotten themselves to, but every single Ghanaian has a security concern. So I think this is a wake-up call for us. This is a golden opportunity for us to explore the myriad of ways, of strategies, the multi-dimensional strategy we can adopt in dealing with the state of insecurity in the country, rather than simplistically providing security to MPs. Because trust me, these guys have become more audacious. They are able to go after police personnel in broad daylight, in the streets. You understand? So if they want to come after you, they come after you whether you have a police escort or not. Recently, remember, they attacked a bullion van. A bullion van is fortified. Just they were able to attack it. So this is a wider issue that we need to approach from a wider scientific perspective, rather than just thinking that providing police officers to MPs will solve the issue.
Adib Sani is a security analyst with JATK. He spoke to me earlier on Election Brief. Well, we still keep our eyes on our own security as we work with the state to protect all of us. We also remember that the police is seeking information. Anybody who has information on how to track down the killers of the Member of Parliament, the police welcome that information. They're putting a 20,000 bounty on the heads of those who killed him. This is still The Pulse with me, Gifty Ando Apia. Very quick break. I'll be right back. When we return, we go across the country to our correspondents looking at what's been happening in their constituency. It's been political campaigns, accident, and of course, highway robberies too. Welcome back. It's Friday and time for our weekly updates from across the country from our correspondents. We bring you reporter stories that you missed out in the course of the week and give you updates when available. There have been a lot of activities, of course, this week, from politics to security and other national interest stories. Well, let's begin from the Oti region. Over there, political activities have heightened as candidates representing the various political parties are filing their nominations to contest for the seat in their various constituencies. In their Akan constituencies, both NDC and NPP candidates have submitted their nominations to the Electoral Commission. We'll soon hear both of them, but first, our regional correspondent, Peter Seno, joins us via Zoom. Hello, Peter.
Hi, Gifty.
Peter, let's start with Rashid Bawa. He's Ghana's High Commissioner to Nigeria, and he's contesting on the ticket of the NPP.
Yes, Rashid Bawa in the Akan constituency is contesting on the ticket of the NPP. And in fact, he was a one-term MP between 2000 and 2004 when he defected from the NDC and went independent. And so won and went to the parliament, but he lost the bid to come back in 2004. And so then he even served as Ghana's Deputy Minister for Education, Youth and Sports under the Kufuor administration. And so he's back into the constituency now to render his services onto the people. If we recall, 2016, he tried at Denton constituency where he couldn't secure the needed vote to represent the people. And so this is his native constituency, so he's back to represent the people in the constituency.
I see. You also spoke to, we'll talk about the other contender, but you've also spoken to his supporters. I want you to give us a general sense of what the people feel about him. Let's start with his supporters and then generally the other views.
Yeah, with Rashid Bawa, well, he's still got a support base here in the Akan constituency, but predominantly this is an NDC dominated area, but he still has his support here on the ground. And in fact, those I spoke to yesterday said, well, he came and left though, but a few things he has done around and linked with the MPP's policies, various policies, especially for cocoa farmers, well, they will consider giving him their votes than any other candidate. And so, well, they are very optimistic that December 7th is going to inure to their benefit here in the Akan constituency. I mean, the MPP, Rashid Bawa for that matter.
So let's hear from Rashid Bawa, and then when we come back, we'll talk about the NDC's candidate, Engineer Yao Gumado.
It's still the Lord. Well, we also believe that for the first time in the history of Akan constituency, we are going to come out victorious. And we are going to begin the restructuring, the reformulation, the reconstruction of the KJB or Akan constituency. Number one, we are determined to ensure that the message of MPP's manifesto will be carried out to the grounds. We all know that Akan constituency is a cocoa growing area. Therefore, the innovative policies of President Nana Addo Akufo-Addo will be communicated to the farmers on the ground. And we are convinced without doubt that our farmers here will come out and vote and give the president 4 more in order for him to do more. We are also convinced without doubt that with my personal track record, in 2000 when I came out as an independent member of parliament of the Akan constituency, and the vision that we have already translated to the people of Akan constituency. They will translate that by voting for me to become the Member of Parliament of Akan constituency.
Let's finish with the NDC's candidate, Engineer Yao Gumado. He also filed his form. What was his message, Peter?
For Engineer Yao Gumado, well, he claims that he wants to give the youth a job. I mean, jobs for the boys, jobs for the girls, and so that is what he is touting, that they should vote for him to provide for the people. And in fact, if you take him, this is his first frontline active politics. He is an underdog, if you ask me. And so, and I asked him yesterday, looking at the political heavyweight he's going against, well, he's like Rashid Bawa. He said he doesn't consider him to be a political heavyweight, and that he is going to make sure he defeats him. And so, jobs for the people is what he's been telling them, and that he's going to make sure, and that he and the government, I mean, the next possible NDC government are going to make sure that students go to school as it is deemed fit, and that the current tracking system is going to be a thing of the past when they elect them back to government. Gifty.
Well, we can listen to him as well now.
That description is not true. It's not a political heavyweight. Yes, it was just in the kingdom of the blind. He thought he was the only one-eyed person. But today, he has come to meet somebody with two eyes. So he's not a political heavyweight. That name to me must be put aside, because I'm going to face him squarely.
I wish all victory for you and the NDC.
Of course, you can see what happened yesterday when he brought his people, 40 people, and to compare to those that we had today.
This man, having become an MP, he was able to bring doctors to come and perform surgeries on people. Some went to Nkwanta, and then they are bills, they are TNT. He footed it. He also drilled boreholes. Those boreholes that are not working, he went and helped the community to repair it. So I think these are the things that, he graded some of our feeder roads, even to the point that even this road, it was your engineer Gomado who wanted to grade this road. But the DC came and stopped him because of politics. Yeah, these are the things. Because he had made the people, he had created the awareness that he is coming to do it. But because of political shenanigans, they came in because they are in government to stop him. So the people know that it is Engineer Gomado who is doing it. But because of politics, you came to stop him. So we are going to punish you for that. And we are going to vote for Gomado and Mahama.
Peter Seno there was telling me what was happening in his region. Unfortunately, we're unable to continue with that particular conversation across our correspondent. But let me tell you about this and what Ghana annually does. So annually, we record 7,000 to 8,000 cases of hole in heart children. And that's the worrying statistic from the National Cardiothoracic Center. But what is more worrying is that parents of these children are unable to afford surgeries needed for the survival of their young ones. Dr. Stephen Ochre-Mensah of National Cardiothoracic Center says at least $1,500 is required to treat this condition. He has been speaking with Mamavi Oswa-Buaji as part of a campaign dubbed Fight All Healthy Heart to educate Ghanaians on preventive and curative measures for cardiovascular diseases in Ghana.
For children, mostly what they have is what we call congenital heart disease. Congenital means that they got these diseases from the womb, from the uterus. So in the developmental stages of the heart or of the fetus, they have some structural abnormalities. So they have what we commonly know as hole in heart. And the hole in heart, you're not going to give medications for it. You know, they may have symptoms that you may give medications, but the definitive treatment mostly is surgical intervention. Okay. And these surgical interventions is carried out at the National Cardiothoracic Center, but it costs a lot. And that is where, you know, we call for a lot of help.
When you say it costs a lot, how much would you need to treat a child?
So we need quite a lot. The surgery itself cost about $1,500 to about $5,000 per head. And in a year, we have about 7,000 to 8,000 children with hole in heart. So,
in Ghana?
Yes, in Ghana. So if we are not able to gather funds to help these, and most of the parents of these kids are financially, unable to take care of the cost of the surgery. So we need a lot of help. That's why we're excited about FITO coming in, to help out. So, and it's also an avenue to call upon other corporate organizations to also come in to assist.
So how do you tap into this fund? How do you tap into it?
So there's a fund available. There's a fund scheme available, and we call upon corporate social organizations to just, make donations. So we have other, organizations that make yearly donations, to the fund, and we use these funds to take care of the kids who genuinely will not be able to afford.
Okay, because I was just going to come to how do you qualify to get funding from that for treatment?
Okay, so before we even get to the point where the child needs surgery, the child would have gone through, history taking, making a diagnosis, doing certain investigations to help us before we plan for the surgery, what type of surgery we're going to do. And then we present to the parents the cost of the surgery. So if we find out that these parents are genuinely unable to take care of this cost, then we go to our fund to see if there is enough resources to take care of these ones.
A breast cancer surgeon is challenging Ghanaians, including men, to subject themselves to physical examination in front of their mirrors to help detect any anomaly in their breast.
Nearly 70% of women diagnosed with breast cancer in Ghana are in advanced stages of the disease, due especially to low awareness, resulting in limited treatment success and high rate of death. At a breast cancer awareness clinic to mark Breast Cancer Awareness Month at Ekow in the Eastern Region, Medical Director at the Volta River Authority Hospital, Dr. Charles Ahimfo, attributed the high rate of breast cancer deaths on the African continent to unhealthy lifestyles such as bad eating habits, lack of fiber in diets, excessive drinking, and fatty foods.
This year's free breast cancer screening events that fill the booths will give everyone the requisite or basic knowledge that is so very necessary to deal with this disease, at the same time empowering us with the strength needed to go through the journey when we are unfortunately diagnosed as having contracted the disease. Remember, the sad truth is that breast cancer knows no boundaries. So, as we celebrate 2020 ODRA, let us be mindful of the ODRA theme, smart and safe. And let us turn out in our numbers to undertake the exercise which has been brought to our doorstep.
In a speech read on his behalf, the president of the Ezekiel Ansah Foundation, Ezekiel Ansah, who is the Abrahini of Akwapim Traditional Council, cautioned Ghanaians against the dangers of breast cancer.
Breast cancer is the commonest cause of cancer death in the whole world. Yet, about 75% and over of the people who die from breast cancer are from low to middle income countries. And the main reason is that majority of the people from these countries, including Ghana, we report to hospital late with the disease. Why do we report late? Because breast cancer most of the time is not painful. It starts as a simple lump that is painless, and unless you are checking your breast regularly, you may not see it. And so we are encouraging all women to do monthly self breast examination. That is what can help you to pick a lump or any change in your breast very early. And when you see anything in your breast, you must report to hospital. And what the doctors tell you, please, let's do well to comply, because we say early detection and effective treatment saves lives.
In a speech read on his behalf, the president of the Ezekiel Ansah Foundation, Ezekiel Ansah, who is the Abrahini of Akwapim Traditional Council, cautioned Ghanaians against the dangers of breast cancer.
Remember, it's the breast cancer month and you want to take care of yourself. Eye specialists are predicting more complications over the next decade as the coronavirus pandemic gets people glued to the screens of their gadgets. And it is part of, the eye specialists are making this prediction because of what's happening, because many people are focused on their gadgets, like I indicated earlier, and they're warning against it. They say that experts say young adults could spend up to 12 hours watching the screen of their mobile phones, computers, or televisions. With regular work schedules and other activities of schools and churches moved online, more eyeballs are expected or are being affected by harmful screen light. So as Ghana joins the global community to mark Well Sight Day, eye specialists are saying you ought to be more careful. Dr. Smith Bavaria is a senior eye surgeon at Agawal's Eye Hospital.
So let me elaborate a little bit on that. Whenever we use the screen for a longer period, either it is laptop, tablets or mobile or anything, the most common problems we face is the screen syndrome or dry eye diseases. When we look at the screen for a longer period, our blinking rates goes down. If you observe any person working on the computer or laptop, you see his blinking rate is less. Normal human blinks 16 to 18 times in a minute. But when we are using too much screen, our blinking rates will go to 10 to 12. So that will affect our tear films. And when the things are affected, initially we will have mild symptoms like headache, redness, little burning sensation, irritations. At that time we just ignore it. But over a period of time, these dryness will convert into many diseases of the cornea and conjunctiva. When we were young, when we were in the school, there was our parents used to scold us for the TV. Like, TV is an idiot box, TV is this, don't watch too much TV, don't watch this, don't go too far to the TV, don't play video games, if you remember when we were in the school. But now the things has come from the TV to the mobile and the laptops. Now over a period of next 20-30 years, we will have a certain change in our normal shape of the eyes, normal structure or normal physiology of the eye over a period of few years, definitely, because our blinking rates will go down, our ability of the far sight will go down, because our focus will be on the near works, intermediate works, mobile or TV or laptop screen. So our ability to focus too much for the far sight will come down over a period of years. In that scenario, we will be seeing so many people using the glasses. That will be the things I am going to see. And related to the dryness and related to other issues of the cornea, we will see more people having eye problem before their age. Right now we see the problems after 50, 60, but over a period of 10 to 20 years, we will see those problems which is coming at 50 now will come at 35 or 30, 39 or 40. So that definitely the prematurity in the disease will come, definitely. That is what I feel. Thank you.
Access to quality and affordable healthcare remains a challenge for many Ghanaians. Most of them, especially women, end up being detained by the hospitals until they are able to raise money to settle their bills. You can therefore imagine what the situation will look like in a pandemic where many have lost their livelihoods. Unique Insurance Company Limited, as part of the World Customer Celebration, has donated 10,000 Ghana cedis and other items to the Greater Accra Regional Hospital to support some parents pay the hospital bills for their children. Annabella Ohene-Jan has more in this report.
As part of the Customer Service Week celebration, Unique Insurance has deposited 10,000 Ghana cedis with the Greater Accra Regional Hospital at Ridge to pay bills for persons who are unable to clear their bills. The company also donated assorted items to help with the upkeep of infant patients at the facility. At a brief ceremony to present the items, Managing Director of the company, Victor Obeng Ediye, said it selected the Ridge Hospital due to its proximity to the company's headquarters.
And this week is Global Customer Service Week, and Unique Insurance, as part of our Customer Service Week, decided to pay homage to our esteemed customers, and both the potential customers and the current customers. And if you look around, the most important potential customer for every corporate institution are the children. So since Ridge Hospital is within our catchment area, our head office is just Ridge here. So we resolved that let's go support the children's ward. There are vulnerable people in there who cannot have money to pay their bills. So we came in to support them. We did 10,000 cedis, and the purpose of that money is to help pay the bills of those who cannot pay their bills at the ward. And also donated some items, confectionaries and toys as the kids learn along. And we feel that parting something to help the vulnerable is a very great corporate social responsibility that any corporate body can do.
Deputy Director for Nursing Services, Rebecca Ejari, said the intervention is timely as some patients they are unable to meet the bills.
I feel happy, and then we are also grateful. You know, some of the mothers, they can't even buy biscuits or toffee. So it's going to help us in a long way. Very much grateful. You know, you even saw some of the patients who have been discharged and cannot settle their bills. So you can imagine how happy I am. At least it's going to help us settle those patients who have been discharged and cannot settle their bills. So we are grateful. We thank them. Unique. They are really unique.
Spokesperson for the hospital, Juliana Haruna, thanked Unique Insurance and asked for more support from corporate Ghana.
Really grateful to Unique Insurance for this significant benevolence. This is a great gesture, and we are using this opportunity to call on other corporate organizations to continue supporting the hospital.
Annabella Ohenejan's report for Joy News.
It's been a great week, but for the death we recorded today, we wish the family members and the constituency of FOR strength in these times. But most importantly, let's all take care of ourselves and volunteer information. Speak up when we see something is going wrong. This is it for me for today. Let's do this again next week. There is more news at myjoyonline.com. My name is Gifty Ando Apia.